Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the wildest stories from the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas. A tale that involves the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, and a notorious mafia figure. It's a story about power, respect, and a showdown that happened right in the middle of a packed showroom, so let's set the scene. It's the early 1970s. Elvis is the undisputed king of Vegas. His residency at the International Hotel, later the Las Vegas Hilton, was the hottest ticket in town. He was selling out shows night after night, a true icon at the peak of his powers. Las Vegas back then was a different world. It was the playground of Hollywood stars, high rollers, and let's not forget, the mob. The city was practically run by organized crime families who had their hands in everything, especially the casinos and showrooms. Now, Elvis wasn't just a performer. He was a phenomenon. People from all walks of life flocked to see him, and that included some very powerful and often dangerous men. It was an open secret that mobsters loved Elvis. They admired his talent, his charisma, and the sheer amount of money he brought into their establishments. For them, Elvis was a golden goose. One of the most feared figures in the criminal underworld at the time was a man named Michael Mike Coppola. Coppola was a high-ranking captain in the Genovese crime family, one of New York's infamous five families. He had a reputation for being ruthless and had a long history of violent crime. By the 70s, he had supposedly retired to Florida, but his influence and menacing presence were still very much felt. So, one fateful night, Trigger Mike Coppola decides to catch an Elvis show in Vegas. He's not just any audience member, of course. He's sitting at a VIP table right near the front, surrounded by his entourage. He's there to be seen, to enjoy the show, and to command respect. Elvis hits the stage and the crowd goes wild. He's in his element, singing his heart out, dancing, and charming everyone in the room. He's performing his legendary rendition of In the Ghetto, a powerful narrative song that requires a certain atmosphere of quiet and attention to truly land. It's a somber, emotional moment in the show. But as Elvis is pouring his soul into the lyrics, a loud, disruptive voice cuts through the silence. It's Coppola. He's not heckling in the traditional sense. He's just talking loudly to his friends, laughing and completely ignoring the performance. The noise is jarring, breaking the spell Elvis had cast over the audience. People start turning their heads, annoyed and surprised that anyone would be so disrespectful. The band keeps playing, but the tension is thick. Elvis's security team, including his famous Memphis Mafia, immediately tenses up. They know who Coppola is, and they know this is a delicate, potentially explosive situation. You don't just tell a man like Trigger Mike to be quiet. Elvis, however, doesn't miss a beat. He continues singing, but his eyes narrow, scanning the room until they lock onto Coppola's table. He sees the source of the disruption. Now, anyone else might have ignored it, been intimidated, or maybe stopped the show to ask for quiet, but this is Elvis Presley. He had a different way of handling things. He finishes In the Ghetto, and the applause is a little hesitant. The audience can feel that something is off. Instead of moving on to the next song, Elvis brings the show to a dead stop. He holds his hand up, signaling the band to be quiet. The showroom falls silent. Every eye is on him. Elvis walks to the edge of the stage, microphone in hand, and stares directly at Coppola's table. He doesn't look angry, but he has an intensity that commands attention. He leans into the mic and says, in a calm but firm voice, something along the lines of, "Hold on, ladies and gentlemen." Then, he addresses Coppola directly. He says, "Hey, you." At the front table, everyone holds their breath. Elvis continues, "When I'm singing, you keep your mouth shut." The entire room is stunned into silence. You could hear a pin drop. His own security was probably having a collective heart attack. This wasn't just some random loudmouth. This was a known killer, a man who could make people disappear. And Elvis Presley had just called him out in front of hundreds of witnesses. Coppola and his men stop talking. They all turn and stare back at Elvis. For a few long, tense seconds, nobody moves. It's a standoff between the king of rock and roll and a king of the underworld. Coppola's face is unreadable. Is he going to get up? Is he going to send one of his men to do something? The possibilities are terrifying. Then the unthinkable happens. Trigger Mike Coppola, the feared mob boss, slowly starts to smile. It's not a threatening smile, but a genuine one. He then starts to applaud. He gets to his feet and gives Elvis a standing ovation. His entire table follows suit, getting up and clapping for the king. The rest of the audience, seeing this, breathes a collective sigh of relief and then erupts into a massive, thunderous round of applause, not just for the song but for Elvis's sheer nerve. Elvis just nods coolly at Coppola, as if to say, "Thank you. We have an understanding." He then turns back to his band, signals them, and says, "Let's take it from the top," and launches right back into the next song as if nothing ever happened. But of course, something did happen. In that moment, Elvis proved he was more than just an entertainer. He was the king of his domain, the stage. He commanded respect not through fear or violence, but through pure, unadulterated confidence and charisma. He knew his own power. He knew that in that showroom, he was the boss. Coppola, for his part, understood the dynamic. He wasn't offended. He was impressed. In his world, strength and audacity were respected above all else. Elvis had shown he had both in spades. By challenging him, Elvis had earned his respect in a way that being polite or fearful never would have. Coppola reportedly became an even bigger fan of Elvis after that night. This story has become a legend in Vegas lore, a perfect example of the kind of unbelievable moments that could only happen in that unique time and place. It shows a side of Elvis that people often forget. Beyond the music and the movies, he was a man of incredible courage and presence. He wasn't afraid to stand his ground, even when facing one of the most dangerous men in the country. It's a testament to his status as the king. He wasn't just a figurehead. He truly ruled his kingdom from the stage, and everyone, from the average fan to the most powerful mobster, knew it. It is a powerful reminder that true authority doesn't always come from a title or a threat. Sometimes it comes from the quiet confidence of knowing exactly who you are and what you command. What an incredible story, right? It really gives you a glimpse into the high-stakes world Elvis inhabited. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you heard any other crazy stories about Elvis in Vegas? I'd love to read them. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into music history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories you won't find anywhere else. We'll see you in the next video.